Ahmed ordered a military offensive against regional forces. You know what that means? They're in control of entire regions of Ethiopia. You know what a civil war is? Like the entire country's been split. It's not talking about that they're dealing with an armed militia in the corner of Ethiopia. A civil war means that the country's at war with its fucking self.
No, my point is that this is a country with many ethnic groups, but there is a central government that controls like 95% of the country.
What control do they have if most of their country is under control of militia?
I just posted a map. It got deleted, but I posted a map that shows the federal government.
No, it's still there.
Show me where you got that map from.
Ethiopia.
Yeah, can you link the source of that map?
Look, if you're gonna do like fucking source tripping about,
because you're just posting. Wait, bro, you just posted a random fucking map with colorings and no fucking like citations.
I don't know. I just grabbed it from a Wikipedia article. Like you think.
So you don't know what the. So wait. So you're telling me I'm talking on my ass. You post a random Wikipedia article, but you don't know what the fuck it's even saying. So what the fuck are you talking about?
Is it the case, yes or no, that the government controls like 90% of the lands? There is.
No, they do not. No, they do not.
This map doesn't reflect that. Does anyone else?
Show me the case that this map reflects that.
What? There's fucking. Go to the link. The red indicates central government control. Ethiopian federal government and regional allies
Where
control
does it say that shit, bro?
Fucking read the article. Control F it.
Into what date? Because I can't even see what the fuck this shit is. I'm scrolling through the entire shit.
I'm looking at the wiki. It said the orange stuff, or what color it is. I might have a screen filter. I'm guessing it's orange. Ethiopian federal government, red. Red is Ethiopian.
Wait, to me.
There is a central government in Ethiopia. There's some conflict going on at the border or something, but there is. It is.
Can someone lazier talk? Can you screenshot that little bit for Jester? But yeah, it says the red part is Ethiopian federal government and regional allies. It says the purple is Eritrean Defense Forces. Mm-hmm. Green is I don't know these words, but Tigray Defense Forces, and the yellow is the Oromo Liberation Army.
And Egypt is today at peace. So that was my other example. I don't know a ton about Africa, but I rattled off 2 examples. If we look more, we could find more.
Is the result of interest for you guys, like when it comes to political upheaval? Is it prisoners getting released? So that's the key focus.
Yeah.
No.
But
so the whole.
What Jester is trying to say is that there's no central governments in Africa. That everything is just tribal lines. People like killing.
Yeah, I get that part. But I was talking about.
I'm saying that's like inaccurate.
Broader.
That's actually our central.
Okay, watch. So you named off how many countries are in Africa?
54, something like that. 55.
Okay, you named off 2 countries. You named off one country that isn't actually fucking itself completely, even though it's not in the best place right now. And then Ethiopia is at war with itself.
Look, per your case, Egypt would be a sufficient example. Even the other example.
Okay, wait. So you're telling me, in an entire continent.
This is just like.
Wait, no, stop.
Wait, can I just? It's not.
Wait, watch. Wait. Look what he's saying.
Just relax. It's not that deep, bro. It's like
Does anyone
let him get a little whatever across?
Does anyone believe that Jester's being honest interlocutor? This is worth my time. I'm just wondering. Is there anyone on you?
I'm about to say something that's just gonna blow. I have to go to a tryout. I have to go to a tryout so we can actually give like a closing statement on that right now, and it's fucking ridiculous. I think you're retarded.
I mean, my interest in you is declining. I'm just wondering.
Okay, that's
fine. Anyone in the room? Is anyone who's been listening for like the last 10 minutes who thinks that Jester is being honest, or is he just trying to get his jollies, argue about something?
55 countries.
I do think he's trying to press and take advantage in other means by getting more words and stuff.
I mean, 55 countries.
If you're just talking about the factual matters, I don't know. I wouldn't say he's being dishonest.
No, I mean just
I don't think I'm being dishonest at all. I mean, buddy. So if there's 55 countries in fucking Africa, and only one of them is in peace, and the rest of the country is fucking eating each other, fucking each other, fucking zombies on drugs, murdering each other, slaughtering each other for their ethnic and cultural reasons, and for other fucking reasons just to eat their fucking hearts out, and for drugs, and a whole lot of shit, and they're raping fucking 12-year-old kids, raping grown women and shit. You could see it all across the fucking web.
This is the dishonest.
Wait, it's not. If there's 55 countries, And there's only one fucking place that's barely at peace. The other one you named, it's fucking each other. And the other 53 countries are at fucking hell. They're in the fucking third layer of Dante's Inferno. How the fuck is Africa not what I described it to be? Or you're just ignoring the other fucking 90% of the.
My turn to talk yet?
This guy retarded? Like,
my turn
I gotta
to
go
talk
to a
yet?
trial in a second, but this guy, I think this.
All right, Vilifier.
He called me dishonest and shit. He's just a fucking retard.
Is my turn to talk yet?
Hi, Tamaki.
I'll mute myself.
Vilifier, do you think that his inference that the entirety of Africa is, a shithole is supported? Do you think that he's just like totally grasping at straws to just characterize the rest of it when he's presented no evidence? And I've presented one country that's doing okay, which per his view wouldn't exist.
Let's see. Well, he had the Ethiopia thing. He's given some like substantial pushback on. But I mean, yeah, he presented
his
to
whole
some
point is that
degree.
there's like no central governments in Africa, right? And I've presented 2 cases.
Yeah, I'm not sure like to what degree he's committed to that notion. I'm guessing he's trying to refine it a little bit and say like for the most part or something like that.
No, but he's just making an inference that the whole continent is fucked, which is like what I was trying to defeat in the first place by raising this. And he's like, well, you have these 2 examples, but the whole rest of the continent is fucked. As if he has any reason to think that. Like why would he infer that the rest of the continent is fucked from this? Like he's
been dropping.
He doesn't know anything about what he's talking about.
I just dropped fucking like 5-6 different videos of like different parts of fucking Africa eating each other.
No.
You want me to start dropping the can bullshit?
Not contested.
Hey, Jester, if you like chill and let like a dialogue sort of flow back and forth, you guys can like solve and like get on track really like way easier. You're just gonna like
I have to go to a dry. I'll give him 5 minutes. Wait,
okay. Are you refining your claim from like all like the entirety of Africa is like whatever it is like war torn or like shit like piece of shit to just like most like majority excluding like some
my
like,
example,
1 or 2 countries that he's presented?
Yeah, my example basically entailed that like most of the countries are fucking shithole. Just because like I want you to understand this. I'm literally talking about. Watch this.
Entire communism.
If I'm dropping videos, okay. If he's not gonna let me talk now, I muted and I let him talk. So I actually just shut the fuck up. So I can actually give my statement. So
here, and I can I have an idea of what he's gonna say. He thinks like you're kind of.
I mean, the conventions
back on something that you said, but
no, I'm not walking back on something.
Conventions for talking kind of fall apart.
You shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up. That's fine. I have to leave in a second anyway. I'm gonna just explain it to you so you actually understand.
Run wherever you want.
I'm not gonna run anywhere. I'm right here talking to you, bitch. So I don't give a fuck. Look, my fucking example is that in Africa there has been such a torn and such a fucking political upheaval in the first place already, to where Africa is torn up, to where different ethnical groups control different parts of Africa. That's my fucking different ethnical groups. Yes, Muslims different ethnical groups. Yes, there's Muslim regions of Africa that where you're a Christian and you walk in, they will fucking eat you.
Religious groups.
Yes, bro.
Different ethnical and different religious groups.
Yes.
Different racial groups.
He's
trolling you for your pronunciation or whatever.
That's fine. I can pronounce it whatever the fuck I want. English is not my fucking first language. I don't really care, bro. Like
the key matter, not specifically to this point, like overall, because this thing is feeding into something else, right? You guys are focused on scenarios in which prisoners escape due to or like are released due to political upheaval. Political upheaval. Yeah, because I like. Yeah, and Jester's saying that can't happen right now because there are these situations where they're very isolated, like under siege by like or held captive by. Governments in Africa. Just let me like. I like to say the person's position and then they like tell me like if it's
actually. Oh my fucking god! I have to make it to the trial. We can pick this up.
Just give me like 30 seconds. Okay. Yeah, so because of those specific conditions that those prisoners are under, they're not going to be able to have like communication, so they're not going to be able to like unleash further upheaval to get themselves out, something like that. Is that
No, that was clarified. It's not about like people escaping. It's about the possibility.
Well, not escaping, but like they exercise their political influence, and then that leads to them being released from prison.
It's not really about their agency. It's about like a different central governments changing, right? And then
changing. Okay, so then you guys are
like
trying to figure out if there are plausible scenarios in which like the change of political powers leads to prisoners being released.
Yeah. And he's trying to say that can't happen because Africa is like a fucking Mad Max dystopia, and I'm like,
okay,
well,
and
no,
and
entirely.
and then are you saying like under because your inference is roughly something like in instances where these political shifts are taking place, prisoners are not being released.
Well, I raised the example like
wait, so I'm asking Jester, please, one sec.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, prisoners are not being released under these types of circumstances, and then you're giving your sort of elaboration on why that happens, like the thing about cannibals and they're like far from enemy lines and whatnot. Although maybe that's not
like,
true.
if you go and take a perfect fucking example to where like these guys name fucking like these war generals in Africa who they literally would name themselves names like General Mosquito, General Bin Laden, and fucking there was even this guy who called himself General Prince Johnson. They literally had control over like this large mile radius in like this whole like White House area of people, and they held them captive in the fucking like house, right, and held them there and tortured them and started fucking like cannibalizing them for fucking information. So like there could be an opposition that rises against them, right? A political upheaval, an opposition that rises against them. For example, there could be a Muslim group that's doing the same, and a Christian group claps back. Usually the way the warfare works there is that they shoot at each other from different lines, from different enemy lines. There's not just some random fucking upheaval and the prisoners are free. Yay! No, they're getting fucking tortured and raped and like Aiden, like and shit. Like what do you think is happening?
So you're saying in a scenario where like you said like Bin Laden or something are capturing people that it's unlikely or whatever that there's going to be some rivaling faction that overtakes them, and then that leads to prisoners that were captives of those like previous terrorists being released because for example maybe they're not enemies of this new group.
I don't know the way you just said it, but it's to dumb it down. It's basically
that's the type of thing you'd be looking for if you're trying to say that.
Wait, I didn't really hear you completely. I gotta go in a second, but I'll just dumb it down like this. It make no sense. So if in the sense he's talking about like an upheaval within to where they're released, right, or an upheaval within like the certain location I'm specifying to be like a Muslim controlled area for there to be some type of
so hard. Oh my god. Let's wrap it up, dude.
This guy's fucking retarded.
So I presented.
I was just figuring out what you were. I was just figuring that what you were looking for was like.
I can do a more honest job of reiterating what happened. I presented the example of apartheid South Africa where there was regime change.
But he's not going to interact with you too well. But okay, go on.
I presented the example of apartheid South Africa where regime change resulted in Nelson Mandela becoming the president after getting released from prison.
Not modern day. I literally just we literally moved past that. That's just not modern fucking day.
Can I get a mute on this guy?
Chester, chill. Like did he say it's not modern day?
Jester replied that this is not the case in Africa. That Africa is just like a total Mad Max shithole where there's like, no central governments. There's like warring constantly, right? And there is a lot of civil war in Africa, but there's also a lot of central governments, and there's countries that are relatively peaceful. I presented the example of Egypt, and I presented the example of Ethiopia. Ethiopia is at war, but there's a central government that controls 95% of the country.
Well, I gotta fucking kick this person. What the hell? Bro, what? Oh my god, I don't know why they let people like play videos through their cameras now. Like you have to watch it. It's so weird.
I got a couple more minutes of me because I gotta go make it to somewhere place.
Anyway, continuing, he said that the case of apartheid South Africa doesn't exist anymore in Africa. It's just like wants to say it's a Mad Max dystopia with all sorts of ethnic conflict. Yeah. And that is true in some areas.
I'm gonna be here. Let me like speak to Jester real quick. I'm sorry, and then you can go right back to it. I'm gonna be real, Jester. What you want to do is establish like if you're making like this time contrast thing and say like different results under different time periods. What you want is to identify factors that are present in that previous one, that in that like earlier time period, and that are not present
Well, he's identified those factors, but he's just wrong
listen
about
to
the
what he
facts
said.
that
If
matter.
he's talking, wait. If he's talking about, wait, watch this. If he's talking about
You're
South
gonna want to contrast. You're gonna want to contrast. You're gonna say this thing is in the present but not in the past, and because of that, that's why these releases do not occur. Something like that.
If he's talking about South Africa and Nelson Mandela, and I'm telling him that's not modern day, and we move past that, and he names Egypt. Where's Egypt on the African map? He named 2 countries out of the 55. He said, right? The other fucking 53 are shitting in each other's mouths. So that's the whole rest
there's no evidence for that claim. That's like
I posted it.
he's trying to
I
generalize
posted it.
about this.
Central Africa and below, they're shitting in each other's mouths.
Yeah, no, but like it's not being contested.
They're being like
Africa where there's civil strife, right? Like obviously that's the case.
That isn't the issue.
The point is that you're trying to
you're trying to make an inference to you're trying to make it because like that's symmetrical, right? Like I'm guessing there was some kind of like shitty circumstance in the Mandela time, and now there's some like crazy current thing. But what you want is some like thing, like some differentiating factor between the two that leads to prisoners not getting released versus getting released.
No, I mean,
getting released in modern.
Explain the sorts of mechanisms that would exist, which were dubious.
I asked him, he didn't even fucking know.
Well, Jester, and are those mechanisms? Are those like the cannibals things? Like I'm. And like
but the point is that the characterization of Africa.
Because I know he presented that, but
don't you see how the key, like the fact of the matter about like the empirical truth of how much of Africa is composed of like tribal conflict where people are just doing cannibalism all the time. That's like the entire crux of the issue. He's just like asserting this, right? I presented evidence that this wasn't the case, and he's just like, just chirping about it.
Yeah, I get that you guys have a factual dispute. There's for me, there's an important like missing component, which is like the contrast, right? Because you can say like this thing
But if he's being dishonest about the factuals,
I'm not being dishonest. You're just saying I'm being dishonest without backing to it. Like, hold up, watch this.
Before I go,
like,
oh my god, bro! It's not that there's no merit to the factual dispute. There's just this other thing that personally I would be looking for, which would be like an affirmative, like an affirmation that something, because you can say, oh, there are cannibals present, right? What's not present in that whole. Shut up! What's not being said is that there isn't this thing in the past, and then some kind of like inference can occur, like.
Like if someone can't track this, like these little empirical questions, like is Africa composed of cannibals, right? It's just gonna be hopeless to talk about these conceptual details, right? Like if we can't get honesty from him on like this very basic empirical things, like
right now.
If we can't get honesty with him on the empirical questions,
does the scope to which like. Does the scope issue that you guys are having matter, whether it's like taking place in all countries in Africa versus like 5 or something?
Well, yeah, his assertion originally was that nowhere in Africa is this occurring. I presented.
Yeah, I get that he's saying. What the fuck? Oh my god.
What? Yo, stop him.
His assertion.
I'm saying like here. I'll ask Jester. Does this like this dispute about like to what degree is Africa in political upheaval or whatever, does that impact this thing that you're trying to like argue about?
I'm giving. So
y'all don't even let me finish like shit, bro. Oh my god.
Go ahead.
Oh my fucking god. Does it make a difference? Okay, we're trying to figure out, right? Like, would a Nelson Mandela get released from prison modern day, right? That's the key issue, right? Yeah. And and so you're making this argument about don't speak Rip. You're making this argument about like the entirety of Africa initially, and then you refined it to like most of Africa, right? And I'm asking you, does it matter to you like whether like the whole thing about it wouldn't happen current? Does that depend on what amount of Africa is in civil or political meltdown or whatever the fuck?
Okay, can I explain now? So as I said before, yeah.
You can start with yes or no, but if you
but more to elaborate on it. He talked about Nelson Mandela in South Africa.
Can you push for a yes or no answer? You were clear on that. It was a clear. It was like a great clarification. You should push for yes or no
stupid. I literally just answered him, and I said to elaborate on that as well. The reason why I'm saying yes is because you named South Africa. The thing is, he wouldn't be able to get through like that in modern day in South Africa because South Africa are shitting themselves in the mouth right now. The only place that you named that was somewhat stable was Egypt, which is not South Africa. The rest of the 53 countries in Africa are fucking each other. So, no, he wouldn't go free in some random political upheaval in modern day. No, he would not. Because what is present nowadays, which are the cannibals, and the split between these religious and cultural groups fucking each other and eating each other, is not present then like it is present now, dumbass. So before you understand my like, can you actually just respond, bro, so I can get to my game? Cause I'm actually in a trial. Can you just
to be fair, like the details about like the facts about South versus like South North didn't even come up in the discussion, but I'm guessing maybe that's like easily inferred based on like the countries you were talking about.
Are you like super charitable? Why aren't you trying to characterize this guy as like ridiculously dishonest? I mean, you heard what I just heard. Is this a guy like a friend of yours?
Yeah, I know what he's saying. Oh, I don't know why you're. I don't know what you're getting at. But no, I know what he's saying. Right? He's saying that there is the now he's doing the thing that I was laying out, which right, he's identifying. Here's the contrast. Right? The contrast is cannibals in South Africa now, and yada yada yada, crazy.
Yeah,
like
he just keeps disturbing the political composition of Africa, but like he's just fucking talking.
Okay, yeah. We can make progress. I just want to like make sure you guys are all clear and you guys know what each other is trying to achieve and not achieve. Right? So you guys don't chase that random.
I mean, I see what he's trying to say, but
okay. Look. I understand because your question is, does this thing have empirical backing? Right? Like, is this thing that he's ascribing to South Africa true? You can get to that. Well, maybe you won't because of a time.
I'll join with one account. I'm not cutting off. I'm joining in one account.
So and I'm not saying that he's made. I'm not saying that he's necessarily put forth that. I mean, we can look back.
Yeah, he thinks he has because he's a fucking retard or he's dishonest.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, and then I can. That's why I would ask him something like, okay, where did you put forward this empirical data that in South Africa they have like these cannibals, or they're in this different situation than they had in the past.
Well, he posted like a few videos of like there's like cannibals in Sudan, which obviously isn't a dispute that there's like shit going on in Africa, right? But what he's trying to characterize is the entire continent, and he's saying that what I would
he has explicitly like walked away from like, I mean, you could say refined or walked away from your perspective, walked away from like some more charitable perspective to him, like refine this claim and whether or not they matter. Well, I won't talk about that, but he's saying like most of Africa, or he's saying, and now he's actually making this targeted. He's making this targeted argument towards. Now he's making this targeted argument towards South Africa specifically. So, I mean,
just jumps around. I'm just kind of disappointed that someone can just be so.
Like, but anyway, I'm losing my.
And it's
losing track of things now because we didn't. Yeah. So Jester's basic thing as he's like laid out just a minute ago was that there is a specific, like the specific contrast is something about like cannibals and like the degree of whatever like breakdown in South Africa now, right? And that is the thing that is going to lead to like the absence or the inability for something like the Mandela incident to occur present.
Why would the specifics of South Africa right now matter?
You can ask him that. That's his argument. He's saying like,
sense, though.
he's saying factors about South Africa today inhibit, right, the thing with Mandela that happened in the 90s.
I don't know if he.
That's just what he said. No, he definitely said that. Just now.
But I mean, he's talking all over the place. Like before, he was saying that there's 53 other countries in Africa, and they're all like some Mad Max travel dystopia. Okay. And then now he goes back to, well, Africa isn't like this anymore. It's not possible anymore, as if he knows anything about the, contemporary South Africa.
Yeah, I'm not speaking to like the contrast between or like what he said and like at some other point and what he's saying now. I'm just telling what he's just said to me.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of frustrating.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's understandable. I'm not like here to blame. Blue, I cut out. But yeah, Jester, he, if you're there, he wants you to like back up these empirical claims about the facts in South Africa, different countries in Africa, like generally in Africa, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think for my point to be right, technically, identifying a single country where there is a central government would have been sufficient, because Hugh came out with a very strong claim initially that the entirety of Africa was some sort of fucked up, tribal hellscape with those central governments. But I mean, like, he would never even grant that follows from what he was saying, or
yeah, that's why I was asking
you guys about like that I presented sufficient stuff to badger him off of the initial point. Like, there's no like, it's frustrating when someone is wrong and they're just kind of like skating to do new points, tweaking arguments without like conceding that they got dunked on. It's like that's I think what the essence of dishonesty.
Hello. Wait, is my mic? My mic is like really staticky on this account, but
I'm in you sound fine.
Yeah, I'm in 2VCs at once, but I literally posted multiple videos, and like Liberia, under Central Africa, the Congo. I'll post the Congo one now too.
As I said, I'm not contesting the areas of Africa that are fucked. What the question is?
Hey, are there I can help you real quick. Make some progress, or make some progress with Jester. Jester, you're like granting at this point that it's not like the entirety of Africa that's in the civil like breakdown or the political.
I never even asserted that it was like
you did.
100%. No, because that's not what my example.
What are you talking about? Are there recordings on the server?
I think you might have, like, I'm guessing maybe you like had like this implicit restricted quantifier, but
no, he was very bold. But yeah, I mean, the adjusted modified point is sufficient, right? If it's only most countries in Africa that don't have central governments, then there's like the rest of Central Africa that does have central governments where this sort of thing can occur, and that's it. That's the
okay, cool. Yeah, that's a good thing to put forward from your side. So you can do that.
I'm back. Hello.
Hey, Jester. Yeah. So basically, you guys are on board with, or you guys are like understanding each other that you're not, at least at present. He thinks maybe you said it earlier. At present, you're not making this claim about like the entirety of Africa, but he's saying that even with like portions of Africa not fitting in this category of like, here, just tell me what like key terms you want to like ascribe. Is it social upheaval? Is that the one?
Well, he's trying to say that there's. Initially, you came out of the gate saying that all of Africa was some Mad Max tribal dystopia, and then I presented evidence.
Yeah, tribal dystopia. I'll just use that term.
And now I guess he's backed off and he's acknowledging that some of Africa is not a tribal dystopia.
I just needed the keyword. I just needed the keyword to like
condition of Mad Max tribal dystopia that was supposedly a barrier to the sort of political upheaval, which I was identifying as the crux of the previous conversation. Like, he's just like, if he's acknowledging that that's possible, then he's conceded the whole game.
Yeah, Jester. He's saying basically, in virtue of there being some regions of Africa that did not have this tribal upheaval. We'll say, I forget.
Tribal Mad Max dystopia is the technical term.
Yeah, tribal dystopia. Yeah, because there's some countries that aren't in tribal dystopia. Therefore, this Mandela situation is still plausible to occur.
Okay, ready? So in his Mandela example, right, why I brought up modern day, he named one country out of like the 55, right? I never asserted that it was all of Africa. My bad.
He's saying that doesn't matter.
So watch, his initial example was South Africa, correct?
Hello? I don't know. He said like
South Africa.
Yeah, it's the first place where a prisoner got released or whatever. Okay,
so if we're using South Africa as some type of basis or example, and it's not plausible in South Africa, and he just named off fucking Egypt, all my argument is saying that scenario that he laid down is not fucking possible. And these sections of modern Africa, well, my argument literally is in these sections of modern Africa, which is most of Africa, by the way. He named off one of the 55 fucking countries. It's just not possible that you're just gonna escape as a prisoner in some like random upheaval.
Did your opinion of him go up or down from that response?
I mean, I didn't have a particular issue with what he was saying. I guess.
Really?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I know you're doing a lot of like gestures and stuff, but just like say what your problem is.
The whole question about like it's not possible in South Africa right now, which he's just pulling out of his ass, right? There's not.
I dropped fucking examples as to why I wouldn't be the case. Support it.
Yeah, he hasn't presented an argument for why that wouldn't be possible in South Africa.
I did.
The point is that the South Africa scenario can occur in any area of Africa.
We already established what the proposed inference was. We were just looking for him to like back up this empirical claim.
The point is that there are regions in Africa where the South Africa scenario could occur, which is to say every region in Africa where there's strong central governments.
What do you mean? Wait, can you say that again? Any what?
Regions in Africa where there are central governments, where there isn't a tribal Mad Max dystopia.
Which is one? You named one. Is there any other?
Well, there are others.
Which ones? In South Africa specifically, I'm looking for.
In Southern Africa, South Africa is a country.
I think Rip is saying that if there's one, then you can have a similar Mandela situation. Correct, Rip?
Yeah.
I don't really agree with that type of correlation. So that's like me saying, so if he brings up South Africa as an example, and you bring up a completely different place that's nothing like South Africa, I don't think you could correlate the two to be like plausible in that such a way. And this is why I keep bringing up like modern day, and why my argument is not 100% an Africa, but what I'm saying like most of Africa, and I specify my example in these locations of Africa where people can't escape.
So what is the dissimilarity from South Africa to
Egypt?
I don't know.
Because
Egypt.
If Egypt has we made one already. If Egypt has some type of stable government in some type of way, and Southern Africa is eating each other, then is there not?
The point is that South Africa once had a stable government.
But that's why I specified modern day.
That was oppressive. They locked up political prisoners. The government got overthrown. Prisoners got released from prison, and then they became the new heads of state, right? So like that could happen. Maybe it even did happen.
Villain, can you explain to him that we specified modern day, and yet like the burden is modern day? I'll be back.
What does modern day have to do with anything? As if like it was impossible for.
I'm so. Oh wait, I'll be back.
This was also 27 years ago. Like I realize that you're like 13 years old, but it's not so long ago. Like people can still be released from prison, and
I'm not sure what you said, Hubert.
Yeah, but like what's the issue with something happening in 20? Like what? He's not going to be able to identify
that is the thing, right? Like, so I mean, I would say like Jester has took upon himself like this burden of outlining this dissymmetry between these two, like the same place at different points in time, right? To sort of he's on the positive, right? Like this thing can't happen. So yeah, I'm guessing Rip wants him to sort of put forward a case why, like, in this situation where there is centralized government in modern day, why it's implausible for Mandela incident to like occur in the face of political like shift, something like that.
And meanwhile, in the background, he's still trying to characterize like the other 53 countries in Africa as like, something he's not presented evidence for.
I did evidence.
Yeah, you linked like 3 articles about like different places, but there's like, going to be
about entire regions of Africa. About entire regions. Of Africa.
Central African Republic is one country. It's not like 50 countries.
No, that's not just Central
I think you have this issue where you assume that like South Africa.
That's not true. Wait, that guy's straw manning it, bro. I posted places about I posted Liberia, places next to Liberia, places like Central Africa, right? Or the Central African Republic in Central Africa itself, which is the countries in the center of Africa specifically that they're talking about, and places under those which are categorized as South Africa as well.
No,
So,
South Africa is the name of one country. It's not.
but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the name of one country.
Yeah. You mean
About
South Africa as the part of Africa? Okay, you didn't just fuck that up.
Yes, like countries under Africa. That's why I went to. That's why I posted
Under Africa?
specifically country. No, that's why I posted specifically
the
countries under
tectonic plate.
Africa. Countries under.
You know, there's
Central
Martians
Africa.
living in the tectonic plates under Africa.
Yeah, I think he means Antarctica. He means Antarctica.
I mean, he's just trying to be hyper specific.
But yeah, just I wasn't listening to that last bit, but he is looking for some kind of like justification as to why the modern day stable countries, the ones with centralized governments,
I can't hear it. Give me a second. I can't hear it. Give me a second.
I'll mention the thing about the 53 countries as well.
Is this guy good? Like, does he have power rankings here? I know there's some of these servers have tier lists. Am I talking to some fucking chump or?
He is good, yeah.
What?
I mean, he's like, he's like our. I mean, for one, his like main thing is fiction, and then he's like, from my perspective, a bit heavy on like the rhetoric side.
Is he good at talking about anime? Maybe he just once it gets real life.
Yeah, he has a lot. If like your issue is he's like unknowledgeable about this like Africa issue, he's very knowledgeable about like the stuff he normally makes, which is like fiction, comics.
Yeah, I could see how he could be annoying if he was knowledgeable, because he's being pretty annoying right now and he doesn't know anything.
Yeah. No, that's why I don't like that type of style because it makes it hard to like really have clarity between each other. Like you guys kind of just can argue. Like if I don't intervene, like you guys like will just go off in your own like directions and shit.
Yeah, I mean, it really requires like honesty and actual interest in resolving the question and not like winning to even make debate worthwhile. Unless there's like some objective judge or an audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, moderation is always like an important thing in this community. We don't have enough, but I don't know. I'm not that heavy-handed guy that wants to yell at people, though. I just be chilling.
I shouldn't even got into this. My friend would like message me on WhatsApp, like, take over. Fuck. This is like a waste of my night. I'm fucking talking about Nelson Mandela for 2 hours. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of Nelson Mandela, but I had laundry to do.
So what was the situation in South Africa with Mandela? Was like there was stable central government and then like some kind of
there was like an autocratic apartheid regime that was overthrown. It was a U.S. backed like right wing terror state, racist government, and then a new government took power. I think their party's still in power now, the ANC. And Nelson Mandela was like pulled out of solitary confinement where he'd been for decades, and he became the first president of the free South Africa.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
I'm as
like
far as I'm concerned, he would have to. I mean, he's already took that burden for starters. He might try. Wouldn't be surprised if he's trying to like flip it. I mean, he was, but he would need to like provide some kind of like symmetry breaker between like the modern day for the country with the centralized government versus decentralized in the 90s or 80s.
Yeah, we'll see if we get that. I guess I should just be Googling.
Because I do get where you're coming from now. Because like, okay, now I do get where you're coming from. Basically, to be honest.
About the weaselness and.
Well, no. Like, basically, I have clarity on the scope matter because that's what I was asking. Like, does it matter about if it's all for you? If it does, well, from your perspective, it certainly does.
Well, I don't know if he even gave a straight answer to that question. Like he said, yeah, but then he continued afterwards as if he didn't understand what you were asking.
Yeah.
Maybe I should be charitable and just assume he's retarded, not dishonest. So what I asked earlier, what like the best videos are? What's like the best stuff come out of this community? So like some like
Out of this community, like a debate.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to think for a bit and link you some stuff for fiction specifically.
Yeah.
Good fiction debates.
Oh yeah. Also, Rip. One thing you should also know is that like people in this community, like for your community, I'd say it's like you guys debate to like find out what side is like more coherent and stuff, right?
Well, I'm
Yeah.
not really a big debate guy, but and my friends kind of do that sort of thing, and a lot of it's
We
honestly just
discuss for
humiliating
that reason.
people. You know? It's like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
Just
they
discuss like see which side is like you want to believe in, right? Stuff like that.
yeah, I guess I do some of that, but I mean I don't know if you're familiar with like Tom's server or those sort of places, but there's a lot of like trying to humiliate people. It's kind of blood sport sort
Like
of thing.
T-Jump?
Oh no, not T Jump, but Tom Unboxes. Do you know Tom Unboxes?
No.
I mean,
Unboxes? Like, what does he open, like toys and shit?
yeah, he's got a
Toys.
channel where he like opens a gallon of milk with a knife. It's like a silly weirdo.
But anyway, I think what Kraut, well, I won't say his, yeah, his
Yeah, yeah.
nickname,
So
but
like um
I think he's trying to tell
in
you
this
that like here
community,
they be trying to just win, like
Oh, I
just
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
beat you up
In this
basically.
community, the
mean,
community is
if
like
that's
kind of top. They'll like do anything to win like rat and stuff.
if
And
that's the
this
convention
like
here,
community is
it's
more
less
focused on
weird. But
getting wins rather than like the honesty of their
Mm,
arguments and stuff.
that makes me feel less salty because he's just being a dumbass. But if he's just trying to win at all costs, then that's what you do here. Then whatever.
Yeah,
um, yeah, I mean, it might be fair to say that's a convention. It's not like I said, there's like context, like oh, if you go, depending on where you go, you get more or less positive response from different like types of behavior. For me personally, um, I'm not like in favor of it. That's why, like, even when I like, I know immediately when like just how he's talking, right? How he's or quote unquote like kind of yelling or whatever. I'm like, yeah, we're trying to like beat someone up. I, oh my god, I find it like I don't know if I, yeah, I find it